Hi, this is Sylvie Curry from Ramona, California, and I'm listening to the BBQ Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live.
Okay.
Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
In a world permeated with barbecue websites under the control of tyrannical administrators, there was one man, a one-man army. He broke all the rules. He allowed his members to speak out, give their opinions, and make the website what it is today. Get ready for Greg Rempe and the Barbecue Central Show.
Live from Cleveland, Ohio, it's the Barbecue Central Show.
From the golden tones of Captain Jim Morgan, the darling of the barbecue community, I welcome you to a special Christmas Eve edition of the Barbecue Central Show. Here we go. That's right, it's a show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, still originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard on your Tuesday/Christmas Eve, as I had mentioned a couple seconds ago. Happy to have you here. Perhaps many of you thought that this was not going to be a live show. However, the joke's on you. It is a live show, and we are ready to rock and roll. It's a special live show, and I will get to all of that here in just 1 second. However, if you want to jump in on the show tonight, here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening. Many of you this time of year start to send me the emails saying, hey, we are drawing close to the actual holidays of the holiday season, and are you going to show us of whence you came? That, of course, being the WPIX Channel 11 Yule log. And you know, I am here to give you what you want, baby. Yeah! As we draw in, for those that are watching on the video side, for those on the audio side, this probably makes zero sense to you. So go find the archive video if you want. But as we draw in closer to the Yule log fire, I regale you of a story of a young lad growing up in upstate New York as we would travel to my grandmother's house, who lived in the great booming metropolis of the southern tier known as Hornell, New York. Somewhere between Erie and Binghamton are two cities where my parents were originally from. My mom, Hornell, which is where we spent pretty much every Christmas growing up except a couple. And then Elmira, which is just an hour farther east from Hornell. Elmira, of course, home of Mark Twain. Shout out to Mark Twain if you're listening. And that's where this whole WPIX thing started. WPIX is a TV channel in New York. And, New York City, I guess, and then it also would blow into New Jersey, upstate a little bit, and reaching out. But WPIX Channel 11 would carry this particular video on Christmas Eve. It was a 2-hour stretch. And then it was also being simulcast on WPIX 11, which was a radio station. There was 11 Alive, which was TV, and then WPIX 11. Which was the actual radio station, and they simulcast both on the TV and on the radio all this great Christmas music as people were feverishly wrapping presents and doing all this other whatnot. So this is what I grew up with every Christmas Eve until at least my early 20s, if I remember correctly. So, as you warm yourself by the fire behind me, and it's hot, so be careful, I will tell you what's happening here on this show this evening. And it's a very special show. It's a Christmas Eve show. It is, of course, the fourth Tuesday of the month as well. So you know that's going to bring a visit from the Embedded Correspondents. However, I am here to tell you with 100% assurity that not only will they be brightening our holiday spirits in the second hour, I have made it so that not only will they brighten the second hour of this show, they will also bring you a full holiday brighten of the first hour of the show as well. So we are bringing 2019 to a close in grand and spectacular fashion. We have plenty of topics for the Embedded Correspondents to talk about. That's, of course, being Doug Scheiding from Texas, the longest-running correspondent, John Solberg from Michigan, Steve Ray from Tennessee, and we will be going over a plethora, dare I say, a veritable cornucopia of topics and takes and re-look-backs and look-aheads and all that good stuff. And, of course, the Embedded Correspondent's known for bringing a certain cachet and attitude to the show that everybody seems to have come to know and love, and that's why it's one of the more asked for and hotly anticipated live segments that happen each month. The Embedded Correspondents show up each month on the fourth Tuesday. And that's what you have for this whole show. So starting next segment and all the way through till the end of 11 p.m. as we draw very close to Santa Claus popping in. I'm going to give you that hour from 11 to 12 to make sure that you have everything wrapped, put under the tree, and then get your ass to bed so Santa Claus doesn't decide to miss your house because you are up regaling yourself in the afterglow of a spectacular Barbecue Central show on Christmas Eve. Can you believe it? Now, even though this show tonight is live, and it's great, and I thank everybody for taking some time out. Look, I'm not going to be an idiot here and think that all of you are just tuning in for the entire 120 minutes. Maybe there'll be a pop out here, pop out there, pop in, pop out, whatever you want to call it. However, you can consume it at your leisure on podcast as always. But I do want to mention a programming note. Again, while we are live tonight, next week, we will not.
Andrew, you are not the
We will not be live next week. We will have a best of, or I haven't, maybe nothing. But at best, we'll have a best of, so I'll piece together like 5 or 6 of some of the last segments that I really thought were good and make a show out of it. And the reason that we're not having one is my wife and I, will be in the hospital with our oldest Bobby. You've met her a couple weeks ago as she had come back from college, looking forward to some great volleyball stuff that was still happening in her season. But she has a very involved right hip issue, a hip dysplasia that needs surgery to get corrected. So that surgery is actually taking place next week on New Year's Eve day at some point. Time has not been determined yet. And we will be in the hospital with her as she will be freshly, only hours perhaps, out of what is a fairly extensive surgery where they're going to actually crack her hip in 3 different places and then pull it over because of the whole ball and socket. And I'm not going to get into the anatomy with you guys because I'm sure you'll be bored out of your mind. But but the surgery involves breaking bones in order to make everything better, if you can believe it or not. And then there'll be screws inserted and non-weight-bearing restrictions for the next 6 to 8 weeks after that, and then recovery. So the goal is she's taking a semester off this spring semester, and then the goal is to get her back to college shape by the summertime, where she can then return for classes and then hopefully also take up in her sophomore season of volleyball at Seton Hill University. So, what can I tell you? It's going to be great. We're going to be very positive. We're hoping she's going to be recovering expeditiously. Who knows? We'll just hope that the initial part goes right and we'll go. So, that's a programming note for next week as we go into New Year's Eve and then into 2020 as the clock strokes midnight. I have also received a few applications for the embedded correspondence position that's open. So if you're interested in filling that spot, and you've heard me talk about it here over the last handful of weeks, shoot me an email. Let me know that you're interested. Let me know what kind of audiovisual equipment that you have. You don't need to have anything terribly expensive, but I want to make sure that you look well and you sound better. And sound is much more important than look, actually, in the whole grand scheme of things. So if you are an owner of a decent webcam and you have some USB mics and stuff like that, and you're interested and you can show up month after month and you have fresh takes and you can not get offended easily and realize what we're doing here and you think you can add to that, then shoot me an email. Now, I don't want to sit here and guarantee that I'm actually even going to fill a spot, but I'm always looking to up the ante, as it were. So again, if you're interested, I would love to have your letter of interest. I will interact with you and see, again, what kind of a setup you have. So if you want to do that, shoot me an email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. And again, I do want to thank the handful of folks that have shot me emails already and said that they were interested. Don't take my time off of replying back to you or not giving you an answer one way or the other, meaning one thing or another. Good to have people interested. I didn't know if I would even get one email, let alone the amount that I have. And the ones that I do have all have promise. They're all, the one good thing is one of these is from, let's say a younger guy. So one of the biggest worries about barbecue in general is there a younger crowd that's interested? And one of the applicants is definitely fitting that bill, 10 or so years younger than me, and definitely much younger than Steve from Tennessee. So we'll see how it goes. Again, if you are interested, please shoot me an email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com, and we will go ahead and take it from there. You can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Twitter and Instagram, /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. Give me a follow there. And you can also find a live video feed here every Tuesday on the Facebook. You can also go over to the YouTube Facebook chat if you're interested in interacting with people live, and that you can also get my reaction to things that you're chatting about as well. So there you go. We have the Embedded Correspondents coming up here shortly, and they will carry us through all of the remaining 2 hours of the show as we're doing a special holiday edition. A Christmas Eve edition, if you will. So for those of you popping in and out, thank you so much for sharing some of your Christmas Eve with me. And we are off and running. Embedded Correspondents are coming up next. So if you have any questions or comments for them, get after it in the chat. Give me a shout, 216-220-0966. Email greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Let me talk to you quickly about Southside Market and barbecue. The oldest barbecue joint in Texas, right? Founded in 1882. They've been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations now. Famous for their beef sausage, and if you've never had the beef sausage, I'm telling you right now, this would be a great last-second Christmas gift or holiday gift. I mean, it's not going to show up tomorrow, but order it now and then put the receipt in somebody's gift bag or stocking. They will love you for generations. They also have authentic Central Texas barbecue. All meats, including the prime briskets, are smoked slow and low for many hours over real Texas post oak wood. They ship nationwide through their online store at southsidemarket.com. Shipping customers can choose to order now and ship later, including custom gift notes and mail to multiple addresses without additional shipping charges. All the shipped items are vacuum sealed to ensure freshness and ease of preparation for the customer. The meats are processed in that on-site USDA-inspected facility down there, and they can do fresh and smoked product. Custom orders are welcome as well. 2 restaurants if you want to eat: Elgin, Texas, since 1882, and Bastrop, Texas, since 2014. Grocery distribution through Texas and many surrounding states. If you're not through a surrounding state, you have to do it online. SouthsideMarket.com. 10% off coupon code for any online purchases as you check out. Use the code BBQ Central. That's one word, all lowercase, BBQ Central. And again, you get 10% off your entire order. And again, not just the first time. This is the first time and the 10th time and the 31st time and all that. Again, the coupon code is BBQCENTRAL, one word lowercase, BBQ Central, and that's at southsidemarket.com, southsidemarket.com. All right, we are back with the Embedded Correspondence. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Butcher Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. All of Butcher Barbecue products are tested on the competition circuit as well as in backyards, not only countrywide, but worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood and visit butcherbbq.com to stock up now. Always trust your butcher, and I have been mentioning this over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Dave also has a podcast up now called the Butcher Barbecue Podcast. So if you're really into barbecue restaurant stuff, and Dave brings a unique perspective. I mean, he's a hugely accomplished competition cook. He sounds really good, which is important to me. It's really good stuff. So subscribe to Dave's podcast, Butcher Barbecue Podcast, which is available on all the various sites and so forth. All right, here we go. It is the 4th Tuesday of the month, and that, of course, means a special Christmas Eve edition of the Embedded Correspondence. Guys, appreciate you joining me here. We seem to be one short. Steve, are you there? Because I can't see you. Oh, dear. No Steve. This guy was on fire pre-show talking about let's get it on, blah, blah. Now, he did tell me a couple days ago, guys, that he, and I don't know if he was just kidding with me or not, but it's the Christmas season. So today or this evening, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But he said he had a whole new setup, bought a new computer and a new microphone and a new mixing board. And all I thought was, oh, geez, it can only be bad. You can't get a new setup and then expect it to just work flawlessly on the most important 4th Tuesday of the month. Doug, your thoughts initially?
Unbelievable. Yes, he's always wanting more time, and you've got to be on the show to talk to have more time.
I know. It's absolutely incredible. John, what do you know about Steve's setup? Because you are the guy that knows the most about everybody's technical situation.
I'm not sure he actually has a new rig, but it kind of sounds like maybe he didn't even share that with me.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I can never tell when we're kind of going back and forth in all these different chats. I don't know when it's me and when it's not. Oh, wait a second. Here he is.
Finally.
What do we say? Better Nate than Lever. Steve, explain yourself.
It never came to me.
What are you talking about?
It was sitting there. It never said you've got a call.
But so how did you join if it never got there? You can't just pop in.
Doug texted me and said, "Join the call."
But
I did my good duty.
But you can't just join if you're like there had to have been a connection. You can't just come on.
I didn't see it.
Oh.
Don't scold me on Christmas Eve.
Look, I got to tell you right off the bat, Steve. Once again, you have a blurry background. It's messing with your Yule log fire. I mean, oh my God!
Fix that.
Coal for Steve all the way around. Coal for Steve. Wow, All right, here we go. We have Steve from Tennessee finally in here. We also have the longest-running correspondent, Doug Scheiding, from Texas, and of course the gentleman from Michigan, John Solberg, who happens to be the executive producer of the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less. So, wow. Okay, now let's do this. Steve, I got to tell you, for being tardy, your setup right now is absolutely supreme. That fireplace looks 100% real. It looks like it's in the wall of your home.
How about the flashing lights?
I mean, that's great, but I am just now. Look, you would have, of course, you would know. Just bear with me here. I'm a huge fan of fires, right? I mean, here's my Yule log fire from 900 years ago or whatever it is. So of course I'm a huge fan of fire. But that fire you have behind you is some kind of fire, my friend. That is absolutely spectacular. You're decked out in your holiday gear. It's wonderful. All right.
Ready to go.
Here we go. We have everybody on board, and first things first, and I want to make sure that if you have anything going on, let's get this addressed right out in the open. First, let's look back. 2019, as you guys are operating independently of the show, because Doug is a competition cooker and a class teacher, and Steve owns small business out there in Ooltewah, Tennessee, that fixes cars and has gas and does all this great stuff. And, of course, John is a master of everything, a restorer of old grills and flying people around the country that nobody knows about. I mean, we all have our hands in things. So, Doug, as you look back on 2019, like, what are some of your business highlights, and what are you looking forward to in 2020?
2019, I did about 9 comps and mainly down here, and I totaled it up this morning. I got 16 top 10 calls and 7 top 3 calls.
Wow.
And kissed my sister twice and finished 3rd overall, just out of the money on Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion. So it was a pretty good year for us. In terms of Traeger, I taught 6 classes. They're shop classes. 4 of them were actually up at Salt Lake City, up at the headquarters, and did several events for them. In fact, one was in Santa Barbara, so that was actually a lot of fun. Beer and barbecue right on the beach, and Santa Barbara is just like a different world. You get to kind of, it's a different time zone, and it's just amazing. Probably also in Head Country, Head Country actually came down and filmed about a day and a half and sponsored did some videos and things like that. So for next year, I'll be a Head Country ambassador, as well as continue on with the Traeger consulting that I do. I'm a consultant to them and not an employee. And then also talking and working with several meat companies, E3 and Hassel Cattle Company. So yeah.
Now, you say consultant. Do you mean contractor?
Yeah, I'm a contractor. Okay. So I have a contract with them.
Right. Now, do you, when you go to the home office in Salt Lake, I see pictures of it here and there. The Traeger, I mean, that seems like a pretty impressive facility.
Oh, it's amazing. It's what you would think like Google would be like in terms of the office environment, and in fact that was my first attempt when we were going to do the EC video that we never did. But I actually did take a little bit of a tour through the Traeger headquarters. I just couldn't get the sound, being a neophyte in audio visual stuff. I couldn't get the sound because my wife was doing the phone video like Stover had told us, just shoot it and run with it. But it was a little bit of Darth Vader with her breathing.
Nice. All right. So you have you had a good year of 2019 competitions, really good finishes there. I would prefer you say a bridesmaid instead of kissing sisters. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And then 2020 sounds to be good. I mean, do you have a preference? I'm always interested in people's business here. When you have an E3 or EC or whatever you said, and then like a Hassel Cattle Company, is it first to the table that gets you, or could you do business with both? I mean, what do you look for in that?
Well, actually, yeah, I'm looking to hopefully. I'd rather be like a free agent from a meat standpoint, just because it affects the competition side. Mm-hmm. So in terms of briskets, I used to use Snake River and have used some and done well with Midland. That's what Fred Robles uses. But right now I'm doing pretty well with the Hassel Cattle Company. My last 3 briskets have finished first, second, and fourth in competition. So I'm hitting, chicken goes away, and because I used to hitting chicken all the time, and so it's like the flavor profiles have changed a little bit. But I'm on those. I won't lock myself into any one company, because I like to kind of get different ones. Use Smithfield ribs or other different types of ribs, etc. So.
All right, John, let's go to you and give us a recap of your 2019 business and things you might be looking forward to in 2020.
Hey, 2019 was a great year. I can't believe how rapidly it is coming to a close.
Good one, by the way. That's my line.
Sorry. I apologize. Definitely got a lot more involved in reviewing products as a contractor. That's really ramped up. it's a very enjoyable thing for me. I enjoy messing with new gear, telling people about it. So that's been great.
John, let me interrupt just for a second. People have to understand here, because I think there's a lot of stuff on the internet, right? I mean, if you Google something, there will be pages and pages and pages of returns. So I think 5 or 10 years ago, people would do reviews, and there were not anywhere near the amount. Also, probably not anywhere near the amount of, I hate to use fake reviews, but reviews where people are paid, and it's going to be good no matter what. It's going to be the best thing no matter what. So how are you able to play away from the bogus reviews? Because I think it can get lost in the amount of returns when people start to Google stuff or go on YouTube. What's your code of ethics?
Well, here's where I'm at with it. Affiliate marketing is a real thing. And in order for websites to make money, you click the link, you go to, say, ThermalWorks to buy that product. A commission is paid. I'm very fortunate in the fact that the majority of my reviews are not credited to me. So I'm contracted to write an honest review, and I have a certain criteria for different clients to, what is the product? What do I like about the product? What could be improved about the product, and my final thoughts. I'm not allowed to keep any of the products I review. Those are all donated to first responders. They're sent back to the company that provided them, and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, the folks that I review for want honest reviews. It's not driven by affiliate marketing. Not that affiliate marketing is a bad thing, but it very well can be. So I'm kind of clean. I'm anonymous, and I get the stuff. I give my honest review. Typically, the editors don't mess with my stuff too much, but if you're going to say something bad about something, you need to prove it. And if you're going to say something good about something, you got to prove it. It's kind of like math. You got to prove your work.
So when you say you're anonymous, let's say you do a review for, XYZ, and the owner's name is Tim Smith, for instance. Does Tim put his name down as the person that wrote it?
No, because typically in those cases, I'm not the only reviewer. So it's more of a group effort, but it doesn't say, review by John Solberg. It's just review by XYZ website. And in those situations, I actually have an NDA that I'm not discussing who I'm doing it for. Yeah. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. But I'm not even authorized to say that I'm reviewing for X, Y, or Z website.
Sure. All right. And then how many people do you have that you're currently reviewing for? Is it like 10 or 20 or just like a small handful of people?
I'm at 3.
Okay.
I'm at 3 reviewers. But, it takes a long time to do a review right. And there's a lot of testing. Honestly, I couldn't take on anymore.
All right. And then anything coming up in the 2020s?
2020, I'm going to really try to focus on improving the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. I'm always looking for new gear and new improvement. So that's a big one for me. I'm strongly considering going back to Cook Memphis this year. I've been invited to a team. So that's kind of on the radar. And, every year this time of year, I say I'm going to start writing my book. So maybe 2020 is the time I actually start doing that.
What? Oh, my God. We have just had a revelation the likes I have ever seen. Now I got to change my view here so we can quickly go around the panel. John has I've never heard that before, by the way, so I'm either continuing to not listen to the show or I forget. Doug, do you believe that John is going to be writing a book, yes or no?
No, the breaking news desk. We needed that sound.
A Barbecue Central show.
Thank you.
Exclusive news update.
Sorry about that. Greg Rempe here in Cleveland, Ohio at the breaking news desk, where John Solberg from Michigan has revealed incredibly breaking news that he may or may not be writing a book. Steve, do you believe that John will offer a book at some point?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Number one supporter of John Solberg is the guy from Tennessee. All right, John, so speak on this. How long have you been thinking about a book, and what would the book be about? Just give us the 30,000-foot view. We're not going to pin you down into something specific like we would do with a meathead or somebody like this.
Well, I've been probably kicking this idea around for 5-6 years. And a real basic premise, don't overthink barbecue and grilling. Just salt, pepper, fire is the working title. That's all you really need. Let's cut to the chase. Do some real basic stuff. Real basic stuff without all the fluff and the hype that there is today. Just real meat and potatoes kind of information.
Pardon the pun. Would this be a self-published book, or would you be trotting around to literary agents in order to secure something with, let's say, a Random House or some other book company that I don't know?
I'm not opposed to self-publishing or vanity publishing. I've definitely looked at that. And really, unless you are someone, I'm not sure that you could ever get picked up. That said, I'll write it. And if it happens in the next year, let's look at Stephen Reichland. Some of his books take 4 or 5 years. So we'll see if it actually really happens, and then what it is when it's done.
Doug, do you believe that John Solberg just compared himself to Stephen Reichland? Yes or no?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Why not?
Unbelievable. I can't believe it. How dare you?
He is somebody, so yeah.
Steve, can you believe that John just compared himself to Stephen Reichland?
Yes, I can.
Of course you can. John's biggest fan is Steve, for crying out loud.
You got to have a goal, right? You got to aim high. I'd love to be as good as Stephen Reichland on a writing scale.
Yeah.
I'd love to be as good as Greg Rempe on an audio scale.
Of course.
You got to aim for something.
All right. It's the $900 microphone here that makes it all worthwhile. You got to step up from the $500 microphone, John, and go to the $1,000 microphone. Here's the biggest question of what will be the last live show of the new year. Are you ready? This is totally off the cuff. Doug, who will publish first? Meathead's second book or John Solberg's first book?
Well, are you talking in print or in electronic
I'm
format?
talking about which one, however you get it out there. Smoke signals, pigeon bird, electric release, or actual physical copy from a printing company. Who will put theirs out first, Meathead or John?
No offense to John, and because I will double down on my Meathead bet, even though I paid off. Thank you very much. I'll say Meathead.
Wow, Meathead going to be first. Well, let's go to Steve from Tennessee. Will John Solberg produce a book first, or will Meathead produce a second book before John?
No, John will publish his book first, because what John will do, once he decides to write it, he won't stop. He won't be like Meathead and gallivant around the United States going to Weber and what have you. John will tunnel vision. He'll tunnel vision it to the end.
All right, so we picked John there. Yes. Look, I got to say, and I will weigh in on this and be the deciding factor. There is no doubt in my mind, through Steve's analysis and my very own knowing of how John Solberg ticks, that if he decides to commit to the book, that book could be done inside of 5 days. There's no doubt in my mind. 24 hours a day times 5 days equals book is done. It could be around 7,000 pages because he will laser focus in and get that all done. By the way, at this point on Christmas Eve in 2019, and I'm not trying, I can't believe I'm going to pre-qualify this. No offense, but there is nothing in my body that is leading me to believe that Meathead will ever publish another book again. Ever. I don't buy it anymore. Doug, you are 100% wrong on that, and you are going to be paying somebody, but I just don't think that Meathead is ever going to publish another book again. That whatever that second book in has been pushed off. It's been self-published. That's been pushed off. It's been pushed off at least another year. Doug, explain yourself. How do you think Meathead is going to do this when all he has done is pushed off?
Well, he's gone to just electronic now, so I'm assuming that's going to reduce the time that he needs to do. John will do a great job. He will do a lot of research, and I just think all of the research that he does that will take him some additional time. So I just think Meathead will get it out next year.
Steve,
hey, John, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask John about his refrigerator project. So,
the smoker bill, the pellet refrigerator, has been on hold, and I'm probably going to keep that.
Hey, guys, let's go back on track here. Steve, are you still maintaining that Meathead will not write another book?
Of course I am.
All right,
I've already collected money.
Good man. Good man.
It's over.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I was a huge supporter of Meathead until it went to the till the self-publish, and then when it went immediately to a year, only weeks after the self-publish, I thought, well, he was so unenthused about writing a second book. Told us at the end of the first book, you'll never find me writing a second book. And then he got some dollar signs, was able to get out of the deal with the publisher. And then I was like, oh, well, to me, it would be like me having to do a taped show instead of a live show. I can tell you right now, and I'm not even going to lie, if I had to do this show taped every week, you would have seen the last of the Barbecue Central show about 5 years ago. I need the pressure. If I don't have the pressure, I will find every other reason in the world to not do this. So there you go. All right, we are reaching the first break here, guys. When we come back, we will talk about a special announcement that John and I have for everybody as it relates to the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. So stay tuned for that. We have the Embedded Correspondents aboard. It's Christmas Eve. We are rocking and rolling, trying to usher in a great Christmas for all of you. Remember, this is the last live show of 2019. So while John referenced 2019 rapidly coming to a close, he's not lying. It is literally coming to a quick close tonight. I'll talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. Now, I was getting it all wrong for like the last 6 months. There's two different models. The one I was getting right is the Prime line. So that's the more robust build. It's got the peek-in windows in the main chamber, on the pellet hopper, 2 internal meat probes, all the Wi-Fi technology that you want. Again, 3 models. All of these now have the 12-volt technology power. The original line is called the Choice line. That's what I meant to say. Like choice, like meat. Top choice, according to Meathead last week, which you should be asking for your rib roasts. Get top choice. By the way, I put in my rib roast order yesterday at Barb and Patty's Butcher Palace, and I got the prime grade. So I got the prime rib. Is that right? Is that done? Now, choice grade and everything is on sale, I think, through the end of today. So go to greenmountaingrills.com, double check that. And then, if you want, put it in order. You have to go to a dealer to buy. You have the Choice line, which is that very first model. The two, the Jim Bowie and the Daniel Boone, do not have 12-volt technology, so you have to go with the traditional plug. The Davy Crockett, which is your most portable option, does have 12-volt technology. That's the one that was originally born with the 12-volt technology. So if you don't have access to the traditional power outlet, plug it into your 12-volt outlet in your car, truck, van, or SUV, and you are ready to go. Take the pellet-fired goodness wherever you want to go. Jim Bowie and the Daniel Boone, bigger models that can go on your back porch or patio. And don't forget, if you're going to get one of those, get the pizza oven insert. You can do a pizza party. You can go high heat all the way up to 1,000 degrees if you want. So check that out and add that to your cart. Also, pellets and sauces and rubs and all the accessories that you want there at greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. They are continuing on in 2020 as well. Jason Baker should be on to talk about some pretty cool things that are going to be happening in 2020 as well. Just trying to lock down a date with him. We are back with more Embedded Correspondence right here on a special Christmas Eve edition of the Barbecue Central Show. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
And, of course, we were talking about pellet cookers, so I got to tell you about the folks at cookingpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets, regardless of cooker. Green Mountain Grill, Traeger, the new Weber, Cook Shack, Black Olive, Danson products, you name it. They can all take cooking pellets. Cookingpellets.com, your place to order and see what kind of a selection they have. If you don't like cookingpellets.com, go to Amazon.com and buy there as well. And we have the Embedded Correspondence right here. Let me get back to my agenda here, gents. All right, so let's talk about something that is live and late breaking. John, do you want to make the announcement, or do you want me to make the announcement?
I yield the floor to you.
All right, here we go.
A Barbecue
Twice
Central
in the same show.
Exclusive news.
Could be more exclusive news updates. Greg Rempe in Cleveland, Ohio, from the breaking news desk once again. And I'm here to give you a bit of information after some game planning between the executive producer and myself, as it relates to the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less, in deep discussion through no input from anybody else, strictly John and mine decision alone, mostly John's and then my decision alone, again, through no input. We didn't take any emails on this. We've heard no feedback, anything generated by listeners or members of this panel or anything. Starting the first Friday in January, correct, John?
Yes.
We will go to the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less, and it will be 10 minutes or less. That's it. No double 10 minutes or less, so 20 minutes or 14 minutes. I know everybody was a big fan of the old form, but I said to myself, I want to make it good for the listener here where the title is actually matching what the show is about. So it's going to be one singular piece released on Friday in 10 minutes or less. And John has agreed that this is a format that we should look at. We looked at it from all sides. We had now going into year 3 as we make the year turn. And after 2 years of the best minutes or the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less, where we had 2 interviews or 2 portions, I said, hey, let's just knock it down to 10 minutes or less and see what happens. John, what did you think of that?
I think it's a great idea. I think it'll take away a lot of the negativity surrounding the title, because there is some out there in the interwebs.
I never heard it.
I've heard it. The best 17 minutes of the Barbecue Central show in 24 minutes or plus. But full disclosure, the segment itself is going to be 10 minutes or less. It's 10 minutes or less plus tax. I'm the tax.
Right.
I still have to introduce it. I still have to get us out of it. So the segment itself will be 10 minutes or less going forward.
All right. We quickly go around the panel for initial thoughts. We go to Steve Ray from Tennessee. Your thoughts on a best moments of 10 minutes or less with some tax?
It sounds like it's going to be let's see. We're going from 17 minutes to. It sounds like it's going to be the best of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less, give or take 4 minutes.
I like it. Let's make a new logo. Now, look, Steve, I know that you struggle with production every single day for every single second of the day, but you understand where the idea is here, that the lion's share, the most important part of the show, is the 10 minutes or less part. And then there's production value around it, but it's not an hour of production. Right?
I enjoy both parts. I don't know why you just don't call it the best of the Barbecue Central show and do 20 minutes. I enjoy 20 minutes.
Yeah, but it's not.
What do you mean it's not?
It's 10 minutes or less. John,
drop the 10 minutes. Drop the 10 minutes. Why are y'all pigeonholing yourself into 10 minutes?
But that's the concept of the show is 10 minutes or less. You have for instance, John is going through a show and he hears this.
We know the format.
John, Steve, please. So for the folks that don't know, that's 10 minutes of here and 10 minutes of there. But that's it. It doesn't have to be. What if there isn't 20 minutes of that one interview that are the best for whatever reason? I mean, John has a lot of responsibility on his shoulder to go through and find 10 of the best minutes or less of a particular interview. And, that was the concept of the show. So I think 10 minutes is a nice consumable time. It might actually make you go, you know what? I think I would like to hear a little bit more. I would rather leave the palate wanting than oversatiate.
I was just getting ready to say that may make people want more.
Yeah, and if people write in and say, boy, we'd really love an additional 10 minutes, then when the new year comes up, maybe we go to, a 2 times a week. Who knows what's going to go on? We're always evolving and pushing the envelope. Doug, your thoughts?
Well, my first thought was just make it approximately 20 minutes or something like that. But I like the 2 segments. So does this mean that now we're going to have 2 releases of 10 minutes or less?
Well,
so,
Doug, I hate to say this, but obviously you're not actively listening, because I just said that if people write in and say, hey, we would love to have more time, then next year we could look at a potential of dropping 2 releases, but I think at that point that becomes, from a production standpoint, I think that becomes, to me, that would seem to be a little bit more involved than having John just do the way that it currently is set up. So, he's certainly an engineering magician. I don't think that he couldn't not do it, but I certainly don't want to bog it down into something other than it should be. And I think this new 10 minutes or less is really going to hit the mark. Plus, I think it also allows John to, I don't want to speak for you, John, but does this allow you to look at the previous catalog in a little bit different way, where you can get a lot more in the can or ready to roll, if you will?
Yeah, I think it does. And I think it's going to actually force the show to be a little better, if I can be totally candid about that. The 10 minutes or less one segment is going to have to be just absolutely stellar every single time. There's no margin for error. And I'm going to do my best to keep it under a total of 10 minutes anyway. I just want to have that latitude to have the tax. I think there's a lot of great things out there to still yet to find. It opens up a lot of the existing shows that we've already done shows in. I'll listen to a show and there might be 3 or 4 10-minute segments in there that are good. And over time, we can bring those to light.
Yeah, absolutely fabulous. So that's what you have.
You two are like a pair of same-sex parents who have a 2-year-old who can't decide on the name. You've had a 2-year-old for 2 years, and you can't name the damn thing.
Steve, I don't want to point out the fact that the name of the show for the 3rd year in a row is going to stay the same. The best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Again, you're wrong. Again, you're wrong. I mean, what the hell?
A girl, and it's a boy. It's like calling a boy Judy.
No, absolutely not. And it's a boy named Sue, by the way. And nothing is changing with this baby has been named. This baby is walking. It was just recently potty trained and is starting to turn 3 years old. This thing is a full, live, breathing kid, and it's ready to go. It's just getting a little bit more efficient to listen to. That's it.
Yeah, this baby's in therapy at 4 years old.
Well, I guess. Wow, All right, now let's go to Steve Ray, because one of the coolest things that happened in the year 2019 was this freaking Popeyes chicken sandwich. And we have some other clips and so forth that we'll be probably getting into, at least I do, that I'll be bringing forth to the listening audience. But Steve has made, I don't know if we can call it a friendship or a business relationship or whatever the hell we can call it, with the guy that is single-handedly trying to take down Big Chicken and its stronghold over the consuming public, specifically Popeyes. And while his suit is going to trial, as you heard right here on the Barbecue Central show, the guy by the name of Craig Barr is also a movie maker. And while perhaps many of you scoffed at the movie and the whole whatever his jobs are or things that he's into, Steve, you can account for the fact that Craig is a 100% motivated movie producer. In fact, he is using the Midnight Oil's facility as part and parcel of the first day at work, or whatever that movie title was. The first day on the job, I think it was, right?
Right.
All right. So
because I'm good at naming things, Craig and I have become strong acquaintances.
All right. So give me the run up, because I'm undyingly interested to hear how you guys put this together and then what it was actually like. Because I think he was supposed to be out there. Was it the last week or
last Tuesday?
Yeah, last Tuesday. All right. So give me the whole run up, because I'm just captivated by Craig Barr.
Well, I offered him, my gas station to use for his movie in exchange for him appearing on your show when he did. And we worked that deal out. So about 4 weeks ago, he sent his girlfriend out, who is very attractive, by the way. She has this huge personality.
Ooh.
I mean, big time.
Big personality.
She's full of enthusiasm. Yeah, she's full of enthusiasm.
Interesting.
And she's a pro. I mean, she's no Johnny come lately. She's a pro. She had her camera out there, and she had these boards, and I think she was taking pictures, working on board scenes. How they do in movies. And Greg texted me last Monday and said that everything was a go, and he wanted to come out Tuesday night to the gas station and film and interview some people that he had coming out there. He even offered me a bit part in the film where I'm the manager of the gas station and I hand the keys to another person. Well, last Tuesday night here in Chattanooga, it was raining and it was cold, and he couldn't do it. And so he texted me on Wednesday, and he said he had to cancel the shoot due to the weather.
Oh.
It was really cold, and it was bad. And I'm waiting to hear back from him because, quite frankly, here in Chattanooga, our weather has stunk the last week. And every overnight we've had frost and or rain. We even had one day of snow and a little bit of accumulation already, which is unusual. So, but I've got no doubt in my mind he's going to use the station, and he's welcome to use it. He's a legitimate guy. He really is. Legit.
Have you met him in person yet, Steve?
No, not yet.
Okay,
not yet.
Just his girlfriend.
Text. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. And is the scene or the time frame of the movie such that it's relative to the time of the year that we're in now, or is he trying to set up something different?
No, he hasn't told me that. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. He shot this film once on some sort of
35 millimeter or whatever.
I don't know anything about film format, but it's on film now, and it's going to a bigger format, whatever that means. So.
Well, I would imagine
when he talks, he sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think he's talking about shooting on digital and getting it out of that original media, because digital is much easier to edit, and then obviously you can send it across various different distribution channels much easier than shipping a box of tape that people are going to. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it really isn't that long ago, and I used to work in a movie theater house, and they would send movies in cans, multiple cans. You had to put on these big trays and splice things together, and you would hit a button, the thing would start rolling around. I mean, inevitably, when I was working a shift, once or twice, a movie reel would actually split at the splice, and then you would have to run back and do it. All the people are pissed off because they've paid all this money to watch their movie. I mean, now anymore, you just download it and away it goes. So digital format seems to be a little bit easier. So there's no doubt in your mind that Craig Barr, the guy that is suing Popeyes, is going to be at the Midnight Oil shooting first day on the job, which ironically is the last day on the job too, I believe he mentioned.
Yeah, no, I've no doubt in my mind, and I wonder if he may have gotten a settlement from Popeyes already, if he's got a little cash.
Wait a second.
You can get in touch with the show by calling.
I don't know.
Barbecue Central Show exclusive news.
Third time already in an hour. Steve, are you breaking news on the Craig Barr settlement with Popeyes?
No. I said I wouldn't be surprised, though, if he got a settlement. He's ready to go. It makes sense, doesn't it? I'm ready to go. Got a little cash infusion.
Well, I mean, from the sounds of it, this guy had a tremendous stable of exotic cars, and perhaps he's made a lot of money doing whatever it is he does.
No, let's don't go crazy now.
All right. Well, that's Steve talking about the Midnight Oil use of use for the Craig Barr movie, First Day on the Job. And that also will bring us here to the close of the first hour. And we have a whole bunch of stuff to get to. Let me hold off here just for 1 second. I mean, I know we are in deep. I mean, literally in hours, it's going to be Christmas. Guys, Steve, what are you looking to get this year what do you hope is under the tree tomorrow?
Oh, gosh. I don't expect much. I don't expect much, but I don't need much.
All right, but what do you want? Like, if money was no object, and there's got to be some piece of live fire ware out there that you're just pining away for in the secret.
Oh, I'd like to have a Myron Mixon gravity feed charcoal smoker by all means.
That over everything else available?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
absolutely. Right. They're awesome. They're awesome.
John, what do you hope is under the tree or whatever it is?
Oh, Weber pellet rig.
Really?
Smoke fire. Why not?
I heard that. Doug, what do you hope's under the tree tomorrow?
Well, other than Steve's shirt that he had, the blinking shirt that he has, I would love to have one of those. And it better be under the tree now because we're already too late.
Yeah.
But I would like a custom, if my wife is listening, a custom knife roll that, one of those leather custom knife rolls. That would be fantastic.
All right. Well, where do you get those at? Do you have a brand manufacturer that makes one that you have your eye on?
I don't have it with me, but the Curtis Nations works at Traeger. He's one of the on the culinary team there in competition, Utah Barbecue Company. He's got one that's unbelievable.
Really?
With his name stitched into it and everything. It's like $200 or $300. So you might as well go big if you're going to ask for something.
Yeah, and like how many knives does that hold, or is there varying sizes for that? I've really never looked into a knife roll in my life.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I've got a Wusthof, kind of cheap one that I use, but I think you can get like 6 or 7 knives in there. Knives, and because I carry usually 3 knives and some blades for my electric knife, and then a couple of kitchen shears and a few other things in there, like my Thermopin and stuff. So yeah, I keep that. I take that almost everywhere I go.
There was a guy I had met at the National Barbecue Association conference a couple years. No, where the hell was it? Oh, the HPBA, like 2 years ago in Atlanta. Maybe it was 3 years ago in Atlanta. They made these something I would never get, but there was these very heavy duty meat aprons, and I thought I had the guy's card. I'll have to look through the cards, but I thought he made some knife rolls too that were very extreme. So if I can. That guy, maybe the guy from Pit Barrel actually knows who I'm talking about. So I'll get the name and send it along your way so you can review his website. But let me quickly go around to the remaining guests. John, do you have and operate with a knife roll?
I do, not a roll, but I do have a knife pack for when I'm traveling. It, just nothing much.
Steve, knife roll, yes or no?
No.
Me? No. Absolutely not. I do not have it, but I mean, I guess I'm open to. I would be more open to a knife roll than an apron. Let's say it like that. All right, we are coming to the top of the first hour. So, gentlemen, I will rejoin you here in about 14 minutes from now, and we will resume our conversations. Perhaps let's set up for sound bites because we want to make sure that we're all talking and get those out, and then we'll figure out what to do with the remaining stuff, like best food story of 2019, yeah, or 2020 food predictions, because everybody loves those, everybody. So, guys, you hang out, and I'll be back with you here in about 14 minutes. Go ahead and chop it up however you do, and we will rejoin you at 14 minutes past the second hour. You know what you're doing. You're listening to a special holiday edition of the Barbecue Central Show. It's Christmas Eve. We're doing it live right here, right now. Get in touch with me if you want. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. You can also email the show. Greg at... I already do that? Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com, or call 216-220-0966. John Solberg from Michigan, Steve Ray from Tennessee, and Doug Scheiding, the longest-running embedded correspondent from Texas. Killing it in the first hour, and we head to the second hour. You're listening to Watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. Be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, as we head to the second hour, this portion of the show is brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth if you have Google Assistant or Alexa. You're in luck. It's fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. Fireboard, great last-second gift. Again, anything that you're hearing now, you can purchase straight away, print out a receipt, stick it in a stocking or in a quick gift box or gift bag, and then happy faces will be abound the following morning. I highly recommend the Fireboard. All right, we are pointing to the second hour. We'll be rejoined by the Embedded Correspondents to get through a number of the other topics that we have coming up, including best sound bites and what we're looking forward to in 2020, as well as a look back on 2019 food trends. Stick around. We'll be right back.